Okay, good morning everyone to day two of the inaugural Broto conference. We'll get going here while everybody's still filing in. My name's Matt Clark. I'm the founder of Narrowland, the creative agency that's been working with Broto to produce a website, conference videos, Basecamp, and social media accounts. And Ian's given us the opportunity to come up and just speak a little bit about Broto's digital initiative. So over a year ago now, it's kind of hard to believe, Ian first stopped by and talked to me about a new project that he was working on. And it has come to fruition here about 13, 14 months later in the form of this conference. And I'd had the opportunity to work with him on a few other occasions on different projects. And a lot of people come through the doors of the office with big dreams and maybe not always so much follow through. And that's not the case with Ian. So it's really been great to see everything kind of come to life here. So we're in the room with a lot of very intelligent people here, and we all have the ability to Google and look up definitions on different technologies and platforms, so I won't really bore you all with that. I'll just touch on a few of the technologies that we're using to encourage you all to stay connected and kind of give some examples of how that can work, and then I'll be introducing our first presenters of the day. So our first initiative here was to build a website for Broto to keep everybody connected. We used a customized WordPress theme to meet all the unique themes of Broto. We decided to go with that because it's very versatile, whether we needed e-commerce, we needed scheduling, we needed a way for people to facilitate discussion. WordPress kind of gave us the flexibility we needed to grow or kind of shrink the site as needed. It's really was built originally as a storytelling platform, a blogging platform, so we kept that in mind as well when building the site and choosing a content management system. As I touched on when I introduced myself, you've probably noticed us scurrying around with cameras, so we also were contracted by Broto to document the conference and produce content, which led to creating social media accounts. We launched a Facebook account, Twitter account, Instagram account, and YouTube, where you'll find all of the footage from this weekend, and followed accounts that made sense and created the artwork and branding and applied the logo that Jorg had created to all of those channels to really create some nice uniformity. And lastly, we launched and managed Basecamp. So I'm going to segue into that. Oops. Getting the hang of this thing. This platform is capable of supporting hundreds of collaborators and their products. And it's a common space for the rapid transfer of files, images, video, and information. What we discovered early on is also you can take it with you. It works great on mobile devices. You can have it out in the field. You can have it in the lab. You really can be capturing and documenting and sharing what you're doing almost in real time. You're not paying for minutes or things like that, so it allows you to cross borders, coverage zones, time zones. And a lot of us, I've seen through the presentations, are kind of doing remote work. We're in interesting places, interesting but remote places. You're in the field. So it really makes that remote and solo work possible, but keeps you connected to your fellow collaborators and helps you be part of the greater whole, so to speak. You can list goals, scheduling, to-do lists, call for help or assistance. It just really greatly accelerates the rate of projects and their outcomes, and is a powerful management tool, in our opinion, that can connect people from many different disciplines. Kind of our aha moment was early January when we were finalizing the new iteration of the site. I was in Orleans, Ian was in Provincetown to really make the triangle large. Jorg was down in Florida. Jorg was making sure that the branding was applied properly throughout the site. Ian was editing copy and making suggestions. We were troubleshooting. We were doing this all in real time, in some cases thousands of miles apart, so effectively, and I really was kind of taken by the platform from then on, and really a believer. So I do encourage you all to use that. It's very powerful, and I think will be, as we all go in our opposite directions after this weekend, a great way to continue the momentum that we've started this weekend. Our next goal, we configured and launched, as I said, branded Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. There's me and Ian working on that. So what we're noticing now is our engagement is slightly lower than maybe where we'd want to get, and that's where you all come in.
Thanks.
So remote locations and scattered teams, in our opinion, if we use social media properly, is actually a huge opportunity to create a wide-ranging and diverse story. We have a room of extremely interesting people doing extremely interesting things, but in some cases they're introspective, focused, maybe a little humble personalities. But I want to encourage you all to not be afraid to share your stories and really leverage all of the infrastructure, so to speak, that the Broto team has put their effort towards setting up. An example, kind of a visualization of the potential that we have here. We'll do a loose estimate as people are still floating in and say there's 30 of you in the room. If everybody here was willing to commit to providing one piece of content, one post per month, we would already have a 30-day cycle. We could populate all of our accounts daily with the stories of what you're doing. If everybody here, imagine, was willing to provide one post, one piece of content per week, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it could quickly snowball and become one of the most vibrant, interesting, and influential social media movements in the climate change scientific community. I'll take a small step back. My first job out of college, I was employed by Adidas USA as a professional runner. And I saw some similarities between athletes seeking sponsorship and some of the stories I've heard this weekend of researchers and scientists seeking funding, seeking grants. I was still involved in the sport in the kind of the onset of social media as we know it today. Twitter was just coming about, Facebook was getting extremely powerful, Instagram did not yet exist. But what we noticed was sometimes the people with the best times, or maybe competing in the best events, best meets, weren't getting the top sponsorships, weren't getting the top billings. And it was instead the people who were slightly behind them, but knew how to promote themselves, knew how to tell their story online, knew how to engage with their audience. So I see maybe some similarities there in that you're doing very important work, very prestigious work, but there needs to be that happy medium between doing that and also using some great opportunities to promote yourself, promote what you're doing, and get it out there. So I just encourage you all to take the theme of starting conversation this week to heart, and leave here committed and enthusiastic to continue to connect and build this movement. As I said, the infrastructure is in place, but content we really think is the key to keeping the momentum, the growth, and truly being able to make an impact and carry it on over the course of the next year. Possible. Any questions? Yes?
I have a question about your content strategy. So it seems like you're jumping, if I use like the buzzing communities example, to like stage like much further down the road than this community is at for that content strategy, right? Like normally a community engagement manager or someone to that effect, a social media manager, would build the content out for a while before having the community leaders take that role over.
Right.
So I'm curious about kind of if you're going to take that approach instead, or if you're looking solely to community source content, because that's a harder road to travel.
I would use the term maybe curated community source content, using Basecamp, or if you were to say be more comfortable sending something directly via Instagram or even email. What we would like to do is take all of that content and be able to look through what we have, maybe find common themes. Winter, a lot of people are working in warmer climates, say, or summertime, there's more of a focus on vegetation and climate change's effects on that. If we're able to have a lot coming in, we can then look for trends, look for similarities, look for things that have you all enthusiastic and excited, and then put it out that way. So kind of a combination between crowdsourcing and curating it.